What do you do? The little, like, cat's paw.
Make biscuits.
Do a
I like that better than
That's my sister's cat skit. They do that and they make
Oh,
biscuits.
yeah.
just feeling around.
Got my tissue. We can save that. I might need it for my actual nose later.
Hopefully not somehow.
And just as you go along, you can kind of feel up into the, when she's not laughing and you can actually feel her ribs. But then just kind of gently going along bottom of her ribs here. This is where if she had reflex issues, just kind of hold, and it's like pushing and then a slight drag down.
And to the left.
And then, right, so you do like kind of a, maybe, I don't know, 2 hands movements down, and then you can, to the left, this direction. And you don't necessarily have to like pick your hand up and like slide it, it's just a matter of like dragging that direction. And you can, and then you can work onto this side, just kind of going underneath the ribs there. You want to have them take a few breaths with it, you can.
You're dragging in and out?
Yeah, just kind of feeling alongside. And if you're like if they do have, I don't want to say breathing problems, but where they're not taking a full breath, you can, really go through and have them take a deep breath. You want to take a breath, Jess? And as she exhales, then I just kind of lightly push in with that. Then you can go all the way down each way with that.
So when you're just doing your initial warm-up, you don't necessarily have to start and follow the ascending.
No, and
transition.
I mean, so like just kind of warming up and pulling from each side, and then, I'm not going to go this direction doing it, but then, the little, what do you call it, the making the biscuits, you can do that this direction, where I wouldn't do it back this way. But then you
Gotcha.
could start doing where maybe I just do downward, and you can switch and then just do upward. So it's, just to get movement in the abs, you can switch it up with that. Like I said, starting and ending with the digestive route, whether or not that's an issue for them, helps with the digestion, but it also can prevent anything, like instead of, going the wrong direction in the end. And then just kind of lightly. And you can do where it pulls, like all towards the belly button. For lymphatic, you'd be going upward. And then here you're going downward. If you're already having the spot and you want to do some psoas and into the hips, you can do it from here as well. But we will do right to the cupping.
Can you do the psoas again? Sorry. I'm sorry.
Like during this, can we do psoas?
Yeah,
or-
you can do
okay.
psoas. Yep.
You should.
I know, like I need more.
I know. Like that one. And
They
the
both, they're
subscapularis.
both tight, so.
Well,
have
we'll
at
do the
it.
cupping part
You
first
need
since I just
to.
oiled her up good.
Yeah, I need a review on how to get to those tricky ones.
Just go lateral from
Like
the belly
pec
button.
minor.
Like one day isn't
Bend the knee
really
up.
enough.
Deep breath, swirl and push.
And I don't feel confident doing it on my own.
How do you pick your knees up? Brace against me. How's it go? Brace again. And relax. You'll be able to feel it just right on top of the hip bone sliding into it. And if you're up, so I'll do it here instead. Now brace against. It's still there, but it's off a little bit. And so your client will be able to, if you have your knees up like this and do the little wiggle, you can, it's kind of like when we're doing the QO. If you have that little bit of movement with it, it kind of can help relax it mentally and like the muscle.
So
So
when
you-
you're saying push against,
It's like you're contracting.
right.
Yeah, so here I'm not
yeah.
worried about this.
Right.
This is just me trying to, it's the kind of distraction. And you can even have them pull their knee up further, whatever it is, so you can get into that, and then just kind of sinking in. And I'm not really pressing, I'm waiting to, and then when she does contract against, then I'm like, okay, when she relaxes, then I can like lean into it. Same thing with the PNF, that's how you're doing with it. If you go in too deep too fast, that's when you're gonna have that, where you wanna punch somebody in the face feeling. But essentially, that's it. And you can, maybe you want to put a little bit more, you could do some cupping and just kind of go over it that way. I feel still with having her knee up, I can do it where it feels better, and then you can have her move her leg up and down. Something so that she's the one doing the work, is sitting there, but she can do the movement to help that out. So you can relax your leg now. And you can do it from this angle. I just feel like that's more relaxing. It gives it that angle already.
You feel better with your leg up.
Oh, for psoas, yeah. Yep.
And like right here on your hips too, it's going to be a lot of tension, so you can add that into your, abdominal massage
Yeah,
as
that's what I
well.
was thinking. It would be kind of the time to do it,
Yeah.
because you're not just gonna do, hey, let's just do
Yeah.
psoas and it'd be done. Like that seems weird.
Yeah. So, starting out, we'll use this little guy. And we'll just do the little clearing. You can be just where you pick it up a little bit, where it drags maybe a tiny bit. It can be a little bit more, or it can just be the pick up and release, depending upon how they respond to that. And I don't know, like as a habit, leaving one hand there, I feel like it's more supportive. Not having it and then going back and forth sometimes not, but it's kind of just that steady hand.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it. And then if you do have you can, once you start gliding and you want to use an anchor, you can use it that way too. So you're not pulling. So do the other a few times. Come across. If you want to do a little shake, make sure we got it all good. And then I can start kind of going out this way. Whether you want to do it all the way each time, or just clear a little section and then go all the way down. Play around with it, what you like. How's it feeling for you so far?
Good.
You're like, I don't know.
A lot of people watch it.
So when you guys thought about going to massage school, do you think you'd be laying on display like this for?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of weird, but I don't think
Does it tingle or anything like that?
No?
like, I don't know if that's
How tight does that suction compare to like when it's on your back? Do you feel?
It feels like less suction.
Yeah. Is it soothing and relaxing? Or is it more like what the hell's on my stomach?
More like that.
You're like,
Aliens.
It's not uncomfortable. I think I would relax better if it does a little bit.
if you didn't have everybody around your face, maybe.
Yeah.
And then so for that, you can just
Like, what are we doing? over
right in the
here?
middle here.
For that sternum?
Yeah. And then just lightly, I'm pulling it this direction. Does it feel okay?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I try to read people's facial expressions, but sometimes that's not a help. Especially when
She's
somebody's
always
like,
just
when
smiling.
somebody's like super expressive too, it's hard to tell because then I'm
Like,
like,
are you
wait, is that
okay?
it? Is it okay? Is it okay? And they're like, oh yeah, that's fine. I'm like,
I'm just
Doesn't look-
Your
animated.
face said otherwise.
yeah.
It's just
not
my
what I'm
face.
getting.
It's
Or,
just my
or when
face,
people
I
are like
promise.
mean mugging me, they're like, oh, that's alright. I was just thinking. I'm like, oh god, what were you thinking
RB.
about?
RBF.
Think about how soon I need to get off this table.
And then just working your way. And it can be a lot quicker than this. You can take your time, whatever your intention is for it. Do you have any digestive issues that need to be worked out?
I mean, I don't know.
She's hungry.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
So is there a rhyme or a reason to the pattern you started doing, like working like this section but not working this one, and saving
It's just
that
to
one for
go with the
last?
flow, and so
Okay.
this is where everything's gonna come out. So you
Okay.
want to make sure this is on block first, and then
Gotcha.
just doing little sections. Because if you started here, because this is
Then
the
you're
direction
just
you want to
ramming
go.
it all up.
Yeah, you don't want to
Okay.
block. You don't want to block
Yeah.
anything up.
Oh, so you go clockwise?
Yeah, so you're gonna go clockwise.
It's like herding sheep before opening the gate.
Yeah, and you could in between. I mean, you can definitely
This girl.
I love it.
you can definitely use your hands in there too. It doesn't have to be just the cups.
Oh man.
So she's getting an ab workout at the same time.
Mm.
That's alright. They haven't been worked in a while.
Do that a couple times. Then you can start here.
So does the stomach bruise much easier if you were to leave them
Mhm.
on?
Like the
rather than-
face, yeah.
Because of all the,
Just there's a lot of blood flow with the organs and everything in here. Yeah.
so you wouldn't wanna leave them on real long
No.
unless you're Brandon.
Yeah. I mean, Brandon, you can do it as long as you want.
We're gonna try it today.
Give me free reign.
Yeah, gotta see
Give him
what
a happy face.
Gotta see what it does.
Well, in areas too, like hers isn't that much, but like sometimes the people do have like skin tags or mold or something like that. It can still pull on them, so just be mindful when you're going around on them. Do you notice it on yours there? No. I have one on my stomach and I never notice it, but I've also almost snagged somebody's because it was sticking out a little bit more.
That's not my diaphragm feels tighter. That's for sure.
Save you a trip to the doctor.
And once you do it a few times, you can just kind of loop around. Do a little around the belly button, and then like make your circles wider as you go.
What about right over the belly button?
You could. You don't really need to.
Just leave that one there.
If they have the extended, don't. You know, if they,
Okay.
especially if it's like only be after
Outie?
pregnancy or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
outie. And then once you do that, like you can start pulling up the sides a little bit more. If your intent is more lymphatic, going in that direction, just pulling from the back. You can do it quickly, you can do it nice and slow, whatever seems to work. How are those ribs feeling? Feel it more there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit. Okay.
Like just tight, you mean like the.
Yeah,
tight-
like tight fascia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm. And that's where you could, you know, if you want
You
to.
can tell it's having a hard time sliding.
Yeah.
Harder time. Because it's tight fascia. Yeah.
Put a little tighter in there. So you can throw a couple on, and then you can, you know, work across those other areas that may be a little tight.
Oh, looks like it feels nice over the ribs though.
Mm-hmm.
You could put a couple, and then have her take some deep breaths. Slide them down a little bit. You can have them, you know, continue to do that, and as you're just moving them a little bit to help stretch that out, you could do them all the way across at the same time. I just only have so many little ones, so just do two. And then this direction you go pulling up. The more suction you have, the slower you should go. How's that side feel? Doesn't feel quite as tight as this other one.
Yeah, that one feels fine.
Which is interesting with your shoulder deviation, that your right's so much tighter than your left.
I mean, she's in a good position. She could get some shoulder work done too.
Oh man.
A few minutes, wasn't it? You've got a polka dot.
That's it too.
Put it on the belly button. It's like those little belly button tattoos.
Maybe for that, like instead of doing like the quick hold and release, you can do it like that slow where you put them on, do something else real fast, and then just kind of keep rotating them. And then you can kind of do little bits of, because you're not leaving up any amount of time where they're going to have, you know, lots of red mark or lots of bruising, so you can go over them. If you want to do 2, you can do that as well. If you're coordinated. I am not.
Does that feel good?
Or weird. Yeah, I'm just not very coordinated, so. For the ladies, if they have cramps, sometimes a little cupping can make it feel nice just because it's kind of that brain trickery going on.
Sure.
I wouldn't do a ton, but just kind of to help relieve some pressure in there. That's where this is where you can, now that you've kind of opened everything up and got some movements in there, some flow, any of those areas that are tighter, this is when you can kind of look into that or focus on that more. So you can, I mean, I'm not like putting pressure onto her psoas, but it's like right above that, so it's still in that area where it's pulling up those tissues. You can have them, you know, do movement with their knees if you want to kind of enhance that, but you don't have to. They can just chill. Or even just swiping up. I feel like there's a lot of contouring videos that will show you to go like straight up. Your skin does not want to do that right now. There we go. This way. Sometimes the direction you're standing too. It's like when I'm doing work on this side, it feels more awkward than that side. It can be that as well. But I feel like pulling from the back up. One, it helps your abs, but it really helps your back and your side. Just our sides we neglect in general, but definitely during massage. That area, you can leave it there. So not unlike working the back or any other area, just finding those little tight areas and with like hands on then.
So you don't have to end it with the cups going all the way around,
You can.
but you don't have to.
feel like
You don't
you
have to.
have to?
Yeah, I can, you know, do the cups this way.
That's what I was worried about, but no.
You were worried about it?
Then I'd have to go to the bathroom. I'm like, oh, done. Okay, fine.
What if they come in and they say they're having a lot of acid reflux? Same thing?
Yeah, you can still do. I mean, and that's where you're gonna, you
Yeah.
know, kind of take and do the little drag down. It's very subtle. Sometimes just holding it and like, I'm not moving the cup in its position. I'm just like lightly tugging it downward. Just the little bit. Sometimes you'll get a little bit of movement on it, but it's just down and then to the left a little bit. Just subtle. If they feel like they're having it right then, you can have their head propped up more, just so it doesn't feel like it is coming back up.
Sure.
And then just flowing the rest of it down there. From a lot of reasons. I mean, some just like breathing too. But yeah, through here, just because you do have that recti right there.
Check marks too.
Yes.
And sometimes like I'll feel along to see if there are any like, not so much trigger points, but scar tissue on it before I start going, because it can be tight for lots of reasons. But if it's scar tissue, you don't want to be yanking that around.
So what if a woman has had a C-section where they've done the vertical incision? Do you have
I
any
haven't seen one of those in a long
considerations
time.
there?
Yeah, you can work on that I mean, just, it's like any other scar tissue, just being careful, doing the lighter work and maybe the hold and release first. And then just that light kind of, like, let's say she has one right here. I can do just a little bit this way first. and then just lightly picking it up. Like I'm not moving it up much. And then if it feels like it has some movement, you can, go across and then just do that light tugging.
Okay.
I would say do that the first few times before, once you get it established where there's not pain, because some of those can be really sensitive too.
Right.
Kind of work through that before you dive into the almost any. I mean, unless people, whether it's lipo or
Yeah.
C-sections or
Or even
mean-
heart, the
Yeah.
incisions are huge, or
Yeah.
can be.
well, and some of it, if they haven't had them worked at all and it's been there for years, like it can be pretty significant. And like especially in the abs where we want to have a lot of movement for our organs, like you'll be working along and it's like a whole area just is stuck. And that's where this really comes in nice. You can, you can do this with the cups too, but with the hands you can just get in there and I'm not pressing, I'm just kind of like leaning in and sinking in those areas that, it's like when your doctor does an exam to like kind of feel different areas, like you're not quite doing that, but they're not pressing, they're just
Right.
holding and seeing what they feel in natural state. So if they need to relax a little bit, you can have them, so if it's areas that feels more tense, you can have them take a few deep breaths and see if that's the problem, they're just holding, or if it is something that's sensitive, or if they want people watching them and they're not sure what to do. But yeah, working it the same, just maybe being more cautious, being in a more sensitive area. And that too, like what we did with the diaphragm, you can do that, right on the hip as well. As far as sinking in from each direction, even if you're not, the psoas isn't necessarily your goal, just there's a lot of connections down here. All right, where is our pillowcase?
Right there
Oh,
on the cups.
it's way too close to me. All right, so I'm gonna have you duck back under here for a moment. All tucked in. Proper side is up.
Yes.
Go across this way, and then just lightly tuck with the arms first. I'm going to have you just hold the top of it. And then just slide it down that way. And then you can tuck it underneath or however you want to.
Sweet.
Yeah. All good? Feeling all right?
Feel good.
Yeah, you can take your time with that and like really get like the feel of it, both with hands and then with the cups to see like what you're feeling differently.